My name is Jen and I'm the Constant Crafter, and today we are going off niche for a second. I'm not making anything today, I'm not sewing today, but if there's something that I want to include on my channel that could possibly help somebody and that I'm really passionate about, and that is my 2 birth stories. I was set on having 2 kids, but after I had my first, I had a very traumatic end of pregnancy, very traumatic and stressful labor and delivery. Didn't think I would ever do it again. So when we decided to complete our family that we always wanted and have another one, I had to do everything differently. Welcome to my channel, and let's talk about my high-risk pregnancy that led me to bed rest. Some of the topics that we're going to discuss in this video is going to be polyhydramnios, PUPPP, gestational diabetes, bed rest, steroid shot for lung development. What else? I don't even know. Sugar in the urine, non-stress tests, ultrasounds, to the point where my mom was like, you know your baby's gonna come out glowing, right? Well, the joke's on her because he came out and he had jaundice and he had to go under the lamp. I had spotting most of July, just on and off. Week 11, so this is now August, I woke up and went to the bathroom at 4:30 in the morning and there was blood in the toilet. And so that's always alarming. And I wiped and there was a lot of blood. Freaking out at this point. So I called the doctor. Luckily, they're there 24/7. Yes. And they were able to get me an appointment. Just rest and drink some water between now and then. And then we were able to go in for a vaginal ultrasound and everything looked fine. Thank goodness. But it's still nerve-wracking until the bleeding stops. I was on the couch the rest of the day, laying down, not moving, taking it easy, drinking water, and the bleeding did end up stopping. Yes. And they told us that I was 11 weeks and 6 days, and they told us our due date was going to be February 27th. And then towards the end of August, we had our ultrasound, and the tech said that this baby is moving around so much. So we figured it was probably a boy. I don't know. We just had vibes. In September, they started noticing that I was measuring ahead. Like, oh, that's okay. You know, we might just not know your date of conception. Maybe we're like a little off. And I was like, lady, I have 2 calendars and I have OPK strip. I know exactly when we conceived within like 3 days. Oh boy, this baby's gonna be big if I'm already measuring ahead, right? No. Plot twist. No, not accurate. We'll get there though. I start measuring ahead and I'm hearing that at every appointment, which is fun. Fun to hear. And then also in September, they found sugar in my urine at my appointment. So they were like, we are going to send you for your gestational diabetes test early. Go get your blood drawn. And then of course, like, it's not fasting because they literally sent me from the office to go get my blood drawn. They called me and told me that I failed the 1-hour test, so I had to go back and lucky me, had to take the 3-hour gestational diabetes test. Awesome. I passed the 3-hour test. Remember this deja vu moment for down the road because we're going to get back to that test pretty soon. Week 15 was the first time I had morning sickness and it lasted 2 days. Week 19, we had our anatomy scan. Everything looked good. And then we asked them to write the gender down because we were going to do a gender reveal. And then when we got in the car, we were just like, we need to know. We need to know. It's the first one, but we'll do a gender reveal for the family. So we opened the envelope and it was a boy. This is our gender reveal. I ended up just like having everybody over and I was like, what do you think it is? What do you think it is? And I like kept picking them up and then I took away the girl. Well, now is usually when pregnant women go for their gestational diabetes test. And they were like, we know that you took it, but we're going to send you one more time just to make sure because you are measuring ahead. I'm sure we'll find sugar in your urine at some point. So you just take the test. Well, I failed the 1-hour test, but then when I went to take the 3-hour test, I passed. And then they told me, we don't know why you keep passing the gestational diabetes test. We're going to go ahead and put you on the gestational diabetes diet. We think you have it. Because like Christmas was coming and I just wanted like the Christmas desserts that you get like once a year, and Thanksgiving was coming. I had to be careful for 2 holidays in a row. Worth it, but hard. I remember giving my husband a really hard time. Sorry, I love you. What is that dessert with like the Hershey Kisses and the coconut and the brown sugar bottom? Somebody tell me what you guys call them in the comments. And then 26 weeks, I started feeling sore and crampy stomach, but everything was fine. 27 weeks, I started to get a really itchy belly and itchy, bumpy inner thighs. What is this rash? And I thought it was because my stomach was so big and I was sitting at a desk all day. So like my stomach is literally on my thighs. I didn't think there was any air getting down there. Well, they ended up telling me a couple weeks later that I had PUPPP, which is a pregnancy rash, and it is something that I would not wish on my worst enemy. Oh my goodness, it was so hard, but we got through it. This soap was my saving grace when I had pups when I was pregnant. This is Grandpa's Pine Tar soap. This is the only thing that worked. Regular soap, I felt like did nothing, but this one is just magical, and so many people say this is exactly what they needed for pups. A couple years later, I got poison ivy and I ordered this again. I was like, if this helped me with my pregnancy rash, this is going to handle my poison ivy, and it did. This helped with the itch. The link is in the description box. You can get this right on Amazon. Those were the only things that women said helped them. I would be at my desk when I would get the itch. I'd be like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I would take my spray lotion. I would just like lubricate my entire body or wherever it was itchy. It ended up coming down my arms, I remember, my legs, my stomach. Oh, it was awful. Then at 28 weeks, still measuring ahead, and then I found that my iron was low. I had to go on an iron supplement, which can make you constipated. It's just, you just can't win. And at 30 weeks, they told me that he was measuring 4 pounds, and that was like a little bit big. I was measuring 4 inches higher than I should be. My stomach measurement should be at a 30, and I was measuring a 34. Then they diagnosed me with polyhydramnios, which means that I above average amount of amniotic fluid. So then they started measuring that. How lucky am I at every appointment? And now I had to incorporate OB appointments every week, and then I had to do ultrasounds every other week and non-stress tests. So that was a lot of appointments as I'm trying to like finish working. The last 8 weeks, I had 8 weeks left. 31 weeks, I went from a 34 measurement on my belly to a 35 measurement on my belly. And they found sugar in my urine again. We went for my first non-stress test and he passed. So he made so many movements and however long they want him to move. So he was doing fine. This is where things got scary. At 32 weeks, I went in for my non-stress test and they informed me that I was contracting. And not only was I contracting, but it was good that I wasn't feeling the contractions. My body contracted 8 times within a half an hour. So they were like, we got to send you for an ultrasound because, well, we also have to stop labor. Like, so we think you might be dehydrated. They gave me 2 IV bags and then they sent me for an ultrasound. The baby was measuring 5 pounds, 11 ounces, so almost 6 pounds. And I'm at 32 weeks. Oh my goodness. And I was like, no, baby, you're staying. Like, I brought you this far. You're staying in there. I'm not delivering today. I'm not delivering tomorrow or next week. What do I have to do to keep this baby in me? And they said, oh, yes. So about that, you're now on bed rest. Luckily, the 2 IVs stopped my labor. And they were like, listen, if you go home and you start feeling like any vibrations, any Braxton Hicks, you have to drink water and you have to rest. Got it. I will. Because I do not want to have this baby anytime soon. My amniotic fluid was measuring 25. And this is when they started sometimes telling me my number for amniotic fluid and sometimes not, because it said like in my chart, they all knew it. They were like, when we tell you your number for your amniotic fluid, you freak out. I'm like, that checks out. I won't even deny the fact that I was like worried about everything that was happening. Then they said, we want to make sure that like your cervix is closed, that everything is fine, that we're locked up tight. And they're like, so we're going to swab you. And if it comes back positive with this protein on the swab, that means your cervix is opening and we can't guarantee that you're going to hold this baby in you for any amount of time. And I was like, oh, yeah, let's make sure everything is locked up tight like Christmas night. And she swabbed me and I for sure was releasing that protein because I came here to win. Of course. Now we are high risk, on bed rest, polyhydramnios, PUPPP, gestational diabetes, could deliver any day. Before I left, they gave me the shot to help develop his lungs. Just in case I delivered in the next 3 days, we wanted to make sure he had that shot in him. And I think I had to go back 24 hours later and get the second shot. My cervix was closed, but it was long. Week 33, I went to my appointment and they said, your blood pressure is low. And then so they waited and we did the whole appointment, and then they took it again and it had gotten better. So that was good. I'm probably just freaking out every time I go in there, like, what's going to happen to us today? I went for my non-stress test and they told me that I was contracting again. So then they gave me pitcher after pitcher after pitcher of water to drink to stop labor again, because nobody wants this to lead to labor at 33 weeks. I am sitting there drinking. He contracted 7 times within half an hour, but the doctor did say it was good that I couldn't feel the contractions, but still, we don't want that. My fluid level when I went for my ultrasound was measuring 19.5, so a little lower than it was. And then also at my non-stress test, they realized that he wasn't moving very much. And so they were like, he could just be like low energy. He could just be sleeping. I don't know if those are the exact words. I'm like, get this baby a Red Bull, let's go. They gave me apple juice. They said, you know, he's still not moving after the apple juice. So they buzzed my stomach with this vibrator, like taser, whatever they call it, and then still wasn't moving. Lucas, be good, bro. Come on. See how stressful it was. Oh my gosh. They sent me for an ultrasound and he had to pass these 8 markers, and some of them were like super easy, and then one of them took a little while, but he passed. He was passed 8 out of 8, even though he is a 10 out of 10. And we were able to go home and lay on the couch and be on bed rest. And my only saving grace to this is that I could walk to our local hospital. So I'm like, not that I was delivering there, but I could walk there if I needed help. You know, I would drive, but I could walk there is the point I'm trying to make. As they say on The Bachelorette, next week we will have the conclusion of the pregnancy story that is going to be the most dramatic. It was looking so scary. Like, yeah, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. We had a huge blizzard where I live. They're just really concerned. Just started screaming. You have brought me this far. Why are we risking this? Sorry. And you are not going to want to miss it.